What the hell's going on down the road here in Los Angeles?
That story, I don't know what was the most craziest section of that story yesterday.
Well, again, this is how ESPN, one of the many reasons why they're the worldwide leader, okay, is they have so many different platforms and so many different shows. It's an easily repeatable formula that they have down pat, where somebody will report something, whether it's one of their on-air television journalists or it's one of their digital journalists, and then the rest of the shows have at it. And then the Twitter machine gets going, and suddenly things get moved up their headline stack on ESPN.com or on their app, and the videos appear in alerts, and it's nonstop now.
Nonstop.
If the story certainly has legs, and when it involves an organization that is one of the greatest brand names in the history of American sports, the Los Angeles Lakers, and it involves one of the more popular athletes that any North American sport has churned out in Magic Johnson, and it involves a news organization like ESPN that can amplify it and not only report it, but also denigrate it in the same way, on the same day, with the same brand, ESPN. I don't know who else can do. I mean, who else does this sort of thing or has the ability to do that with brand name broadcasters as well, like Stephen A., who I have nothing but affinity for. But he was definitely yesterday carrying some water for Magic Johnson. There's no other way to put it. There's no other way to put it. From his radio show to the sit-down interview that they had with Magic and Michael Wilbon.
Yeah, they did an NBA
yesterday.
preview yesterday.
It was so clear to anybody, certainly that works in our business, that Stephen A. wanted no part of talking about this article that Baxter Holmes wrote and reported, and had multiple sources, a few of them putting their names to it. As they said in the piece, almost 24 sources about what is going on down the street here in the Lakers front office in El Segundo, California. Stephen A. wanted no part of it. And he also thought it was an attack piece on Magic. From, again, and I saw this on my Twitter feed. I follow Stephen A., I think. But I see him all the time, so I don't even know if I follow him or not. But him just going off on how the piece was only in terms of Magic, that he was a demanding boss. And in the piece, there was, according to Baxter Holmes, an employee, a long-time employee of the Lakers, who was berated by Magic so harshly that this employee needed help, medical help, anxiety attacks requiring medical help to fix. And that's part of what's going on down the street. So out of all of that, the one thing that leaps out at me, because I'm always saying this about the NFL, what will lead to wins and losses being affected based on a piece that goes down certainly in an offseason? July 1 is significant. Again, there is a welcome mat that's going to be rolled out by Buss, Pelinka, and we assume LeBron, for somebody to come and play with LeBron. LeBron has 2 years plus one left on a 3+1 contract that Magic Johnson helped sign him to. Somebody's got to come and play with LeBron. Somebody of significance has got to come play with LeBron. Could it be Kyrie? Could it be Kawhi? Could it be Jimmy Butler, who I think is in Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken?
According to Mark Wahlberg's Instagram.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg's kid's shooting tutor. Somebody's got to come here. And so if somebody thinks that this is a place in disarray, then it will affect somebody coming, which affects wins and losses. Another thing that affects wins and losses, to me, was part of the piece that LeBron's agent and the agent who runs Clutch Sports, the agency, right, that LeBron is a part owner of or he owns, Rich Paul went and this is based on this article, but also stuff that I've been hearing through various people that I speak to and also in my life.
You have sources?
Well, is that, Rich Paul was basically telling anybody with a pulse that Luke Walton wasn't the guy for the job. And anybody with a pulse, according to this article, also includes the commissioner of the NBA and Adam Silver.
I mean, so that is the most.
In this piece, according to Baxter Holmes, Adam Silver's having a meal with Maverick Carter, longtime business partner of LeBron James. And also, Rich Paul happens to be in the same restaurant, comes up to the table, and tells the commissioner, just voluntarily coughs up that Luke Walton's not the right guy for the job. And that the commissioner asks, well, who is? And Ty Lue was the name that came back.
Of course.
So the commissioner was on one of the many ESPN platforms and shows that are available to amplify this story or advance the story, or in the case of the interview that I saw last night with Magic Johnson, attempt to squelch part of the story. That's the only way to put it. Again, yesterday, if you've seen the interview with Stephen A. and Michael Wilbon, it's so obvious Stephen A. is like, okay, we've got to talk about this. And then once Magic Johnson finished with his statement on what's so off about the story, Stephen A. wraps it up saying, is that all right for you? Are we good now? Which is, again, his way of letting you, the viewer, know he wants no part of this, and he does not think that there's any there for this story. And it's clear that management is mandating that they talk about it. Even Magic said, I'm here to talk about the NBA Finals, and I'm not going to say anything anymore about it until July the 1st, when this is all put to bed with the Lakers. And he even said, Magic, at one point, that we got to stop talking about it on television. He's the one that went on First Take that put this all in a whole different universe.
Exactly.
All right. But at any rate.
But why would Stephen A. do his colleague, Baxter Holmes, dirty like that? I
don't know if they have a relationship or not, but Stephen A. is in a position similar to many of the opinionators you see on hard news cable shows. He's an opinionator. It's his job to give the opinion.
Right.
And his opinion is his opinion. Some of it may be biased. Some of it may not be. He has friends. Some of them he may not. But he's giving his opinion about a news article. And I'm sure there are people on ESPN.com and the editors of Baxter Holmes saying, hey, why isn't he on the set with Wilbon and Stephen A. and Magic? One. Two, why is Stephen A. crapping on his work? Because it's Stephen A.'s world. We're paying rent in it in many ways. Certainly on ESPN they are. And it's his opinion. And he's paid to give them. Sometimes you don't like it when it's about the work that another part of the conglomerate is putting out. I've told some people who have gone to ESPN, hey, when you're putting your work out there, be aware there may be 2-3 other people who do the same job you do that might report something else. And now suddenly your reporting's called into question within your own house. That happens all the time.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download The Rich Eisen Show app.